boxing.
On edge.
You know,
I am going to knock you spark out.
You give it the big talk, but like I said, we'll see what happens on the night.
Told you, Amir. I'm going to look over and you knock spark out and say, I told you.
You better get in that gym and start training. You look well overweight as you are now.
You're definitely going to see a whole nother different Amir.
He's going to be all right, but it's only going to be a matter of time when Kell connects.
Well, it's my time now to put him in his place and hopefully move on to bigger and better things.
Believe you me, after this fight, you know, if you can remember my name, it will give me respect when it comes round.
Okay, welcome back to Boxing on the Edge. Boy, do we have a good fight this weekend. I know not everybody shares that sentiment. There's a lot of pessimistic boxing fans out there. But you surely have to be excited for this one. I can't wait for this fight Saturday. What a rivalry. Obviously, I'm talking about Amir Khan and Kell Brook. But I'm truly excited about this one. I think it's going to be possibly a domestic dust-up of the decade. It could be. I'm not saying it will be, but it certainly has the ingredients. So, let's talk about it. This coming Saturday, February the 19th, Amir King Khan takes on the special one, Kell Brook. A highly anticipated domestic dust-up. This fight is at catch weight, 149 pounds, 2 pounds above the normal weight limit of welterweight. Both guys look vulnerable. Both guys are desperate for the win. And both guys are trying to find out who is the best and who will maintain the bragging rights for the rest of their life. Let's talk about the fighters and let's talk about the fight. Okay, so Amir Khan finally takes on Kell Brook this coming Saturday at the Manchester Arena. Long overdue, we know that, but listen, the fight's here. I cannot wait. It's going to be quite a build-up this week. Obviously, the ticket sales sold out in 10 minutes flat or whatever it was, and so the demand is really high. And the pessimistic boxing fans can be pessimistic. You know, they're going to tune in. Just watch it. This has potential to be a car crash of a fight. It could be amazing. It could be the domestic dust-up of the decade. It really could. So we'll see. Well, I can't wait. Hopefully, you know, we get some excitement all week and then the fight lives up to expectations, because, you know, there's too many rivalries or domestic matchups that never get made, and this one's happening. So anyway, if you're new to the channel, welcome along. Please consider subscribing, and if you've enjoyed the content so far, please hit the like button. As we do, we're going to talk about both fighters, and then we're going to get into a fight breakdown / prediction towards the end of the video, so stick around for that. Let's start with Amir King Khan. Now, Amir Khan, wow, what can you say? He has been, you know, an absolute amazing asset to British boxing. I think he's, you know, he burst on the scene obviously with his Olympic medals and, you know, shot to fame straight away. So he's had a lot of pressure to deal with his whole career. He's had so many ups and downs, and he's been a true warrior. You know, like, that is a true sign of a real fighter. When you get knocked out and you come back again, and you just, you know, I love it when fighters do that. So give him massive credit to that. Obviously, more recently, how many times can you go to the well? How many times can you summon up that spirit and that courage? Evidently, that seems to have abandoned him recently, because his more recent fight with Terence Crawford, which I was at, if you can call it a fight, actually, to be honest, that was not a fight. It takes two people to fight, but Yeah, I was there. I was reluctant to go because my friend's a big Crawford fan, but I was, dragged along, went and saw what we saw. So, is that Amir Khan going to show up this Saturday? Does he have anything left in the tank? When a spirit deserts you like that, you do wonder if it's gone forever. Or does he have one more visit to the well? We'll find out this coming Saturday. But Amir Khan, credit to him. Listen, I know I'm sort of bashing on him at the moment, but he's been quite an amazing asset to British boxing, and I'll take my hat off to him. Currently switched trainers again. He's with Bomac, Brian McIntyre from, who obviously trains Terence Crawford, Jamel Herring. He's trained Shakur Stevenson for a little bit. They don't mess about, those guys. So hopefully Khan's going to get himself in good shape, or the best shape he can get himself in, and he's going to, learn a thing or two. Obviously, they both have a common opponent. Kell Brook and Amir Khan both fought Terence Crawford. We know that. So can he pick his brains a little bit about that? Can he can sure learn something from him. The question is, what can he learn? Because there's things that, when you go to new trainers, it can take a long time, to develop. And the things that actually Khan has the biggest issues with, I don't think anybody can teach him, because he's been doing them over and over and over. And that's one of the main things he does badly, is drop his hands all the time, which is why he gets clipped a lot, and how actually fights get ended, or, potentially ended, and he comes back. But like, his biggest problem is dropping his hands. And Crawford, he can point that out as much as you want, but drilling that into Khan at this stage, that's virtually impossible, I would say. So that'll be interesting to see how Bomac deals with, getting Khan mentally ready, because Khan, and Bomac's actually alluded to this, Khan makes mental errors quite often, one being dropping his hands, but he kind of switches off from time to time. He either sees red mist, and that can sometimes help him, but it can sometimes hinder him. And with his chin being as vulnerable as it is, that is a worry for him. So interesting to see where he's going to be at in terms of mentally and his preparation. So I hope he's in good shape, because Kell Brook is probably going to be in good shape too. So let's talk about Kell Brook. Well, I'm sure you all know the story. So Kell Brook, for me, he's again, a very courageous man, and actually that for me was his downfall. Obviously, when you're dealing with fighters, even in the ring or out the ring, they need protecting from themselves, and no better story or example is better than Kell Brook, because pre-Golovkin, there's no way in the world anybody should have let him take that fight. I know hindsight's 2020, and it's all good saying that, but his manager, trainer, promoter, they should have stepped in there and said, bro, don't take this one. Fighting Golovkin at 2 weight classes. Nobody in the middleweight division wanted to face Golovkin at that time. So it's obviously backfired massively. He shattered his orbital bone. And then he had the mandatory with Errol Spence, which, who knows how well he would have done. Because Kell Brook was looking fantastic pre-Golovkin fight. He looked really good against Sean Porter. He's ultra skilled. Timing's exceptional. Comes from a great lineage the Ingle camp. So who knows? That Golovkin defeat certainly would have changed something. And that's why, who knows what he could have gone on to do had he not taken that fight. Easier said than done, though. Obviously, when you're dangling a big paycheck in the fighter's eyes, it's only inevitable they're going to be teased into that. So, but listen, I like both fighters. I think they're both great for British boxing. I think it's going to be great. And I think, Dominic Ingle is back with Kell Brook. That he took a little time off from him. And when you're with the same trainer for a long time, it can get a little boring. You get doing the same things over and over, and having a little change is good. But so I'm thinking it might favour Khan going with Bomac for this one, to get some new fresh ideas, albeit small ones. And Brook and Ingle, does seem from the outside like it's still a bit flat. So we'll see. Perhaps I'm wrong. Hopefully I am, and hopefully they can re-energize Brook and you know, put a great performance in this Saturday and make for a great fight. Because, you know, it potentially has a real potential to be a great fight, whichever way you look at it. So anyway, let's talk about the actual fight plan, because it is one of those ones where you look at and you're like, this could go so many ways. You know, I'm like, it could be whoever lands first. It could be that simple. It could be, you know, obviously from a technical standpoint, Kell Brook, his balance is great, his timing's really good, and Khan's speed is obviously his major asset. So we know timing kills speed, and that's what's going to have to happen, in my opinion, for Brook to win this fight. And vice versa, I think, you know, Khan's speed is going to have to overcome the timing, you know, essentially. Khan's best punch or best combo is his 1-2, in my opinion. He sort of lands a kind of cuffing left hook and just slams in the right hand. Often he's a little off balance with it, which is interesting. He could probably generate way more power with it, but he's got very long arms, which could work in his favor. And that is the punch, I think, that could certainly do most damage. This quick 1-2 like he did against Salita. You know, with Khan, as I say, it's breathtaking speed. It really is. He's just amazing. And, you know, Virgil Hunter, when he was training with him, was like, said something like, you know, could make your eyes tear up to see how good this guy is, or how fast he is, how athletically, how gifted he is, you know. And that natural ability in boxing is like, you know, you see someone walk through the gym and they do that, you'd be like, all right, okay, son, come over here for a second. And when you see natural ability like that, you know, hold on to that prized possession, because that doesn't come around very often, and it wins fights, and it has. Obviously, Khan's more than that, but that speed isn't obviously what it was, but it's still very fast, and he can still certainly use it to his effect on Saturday with that, you know, decoy slash left hook, like cupping shot, and then slam that right hand in there. I think that's going to be his best weapon. And at the same time, I think Brook, his timing is superb, or at least it was. He was even out timing Terence Crawford for a little bit. He looked good in that fight, you know. And, you know, people say, yeah, he got basically not knocked out, but the damage started with that jab. But, you know, he was like, split seconds in boxing are everything. And I think that's going to be so true for this fight. I think in a split second, obviously mistakes, small split second mistakes, I think could be the massive difference in this fight. And where Brook against Crawford, you know, he was mounting his attack and he was stepping in, and Crawford was southpaw, so it's a little different, but he landed with that kind of hybrid jab, almost a hook, straight bang on the chin. So, you know, Brook walked into that, so it wasn't just literally a straight jab, and, you know, and then he kind of really twisted his head back. It was a really, like, the impact was quite intense. You know, that obviously that could have a lot to do with Brook's punching ability, punch resistance. But you know, I'm not taking the full stock in the fact that his punch resistance is completely gone because of the nature of that punch. You know, sometimes if you just land the shot in the right place in boxing, it can do way more damage than you ever realise. And I might think that could have been that moment, maybe. But be it as it may, Brook's going to have to get his timing spot on. You can't afford to make mistakes like that and switch off and have Khan drill one of those 1-2s in. In terms of how else the fight could go, I mean, is a fight going to break out at any moment? Probably. These guys absolutely hate each other. So when you have that kind of animosity and that kind of hatred, it's like, you know, sparking a flame and throwing a match on a fire, or not a match, fuel. Match. So it's inevitable there's going to be some heavy exchanges and a fight that will break out. And who would you favour then? You know, Brook's got the tidier, neater work. His balance is a little bit better. Khan's hands are always down, so both guys are going to tag each other. Who's going to have, when they get hurt, if they both get hurt, or whoever gets hurt first, who's got the most spirit left? Who can summon that spirit? I know Khan's had a deeper level of spirit, in my opinion, but Brook's never really needed to use it as much because he's so skillful. So will we see both of it? Will we see both of their spirits come out in full fashion in an absolutely amazing fight? I really hope we do, because like I keep saying, it's got the ingredients to do that, and I can't wait. I can't wait. So ultimately, I think actually, if you fight this fight 5 times, you probably get 5 different winners in different, you know, versions with different punches. But I think Brook is actually going to be victorious. I cannot see this fight going 12 rounds. I think it's going to be around between 5 and 7. I think Brook's going to time Khan with that right hand. He's got a beautiful left hook as well, Kell Brook, but I do think it's going to be that right hand. Khan usually gets hit with an overhand right a lot. Like Brook doesn't really throw the overhand right like that. He usually comes straight down the pipe. But if Khan's hands aren't anywhere near his chin, which is fairly normal, then he should find a home for that right hand. But you know, I don't have a lot of confidence in that pick, but I do think Brook is more skilled, and I think he's very switched on, he's very alert, and you know, I think that mistake against Crawford really cost him, and I don't think he'll be looking to do that again, but he could quite easily do it again. So I'm going to go with Brook between rounds 5 and 7, TKO. Good fight. Can't wait for this one, you know. Hopefully you guys can't wait for it either. And yeah, that's it from me, Boxing on the Edge. Let me know what you think about your prediction in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you, because there's so many different opinions going out there. I would love to get into a debate, or you know, a chat with somebody in the comment section regarding this, because you know, it could be so many different ways this fight could go. So anyway, I hope both guys come out healthy. That's all that really matters. I hope you get a good fight, and may the best man win as always. Boxing on the Edge. I'll see you soon.